Hi everyone, are you sick of me yet? You better. I hope you're not, because we are now going to be doing a Instagram live interview with Riso Chan. So we're just waiting on some people to join. Um, for those of you that were not on the last Instagram live video, the last one, excuse me. We're doing a series of Instagram Live interviews with our artists throughout the day. This is the second one. I just got over with the first one with Alice. You guys should check it out. It was really good. And Riso seems to be joining now, so I'm going to ask her to join. And then we can get started.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going? Since I just got off the call with Alice, I was like, oh my god, these followers must be so sick of me at this point with all the interviews. But super excited to speak to you today. For everyone that's joining now, I'm just letting you guys know, feel free to ask questions below, and I'll go ahead and ask them to Riso once we're done with the questions that I have for her. Okay? All right, so how are you, Riso?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm just home. It's 5 o'clock in Holland, and we are just preparing dinner soon and celebrating together, me and my partner at home. Very easy night. So, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm excited to start a new year, as I guess everyone is, right?
Oh, totally. So excited. So over
Yeah.
2020. Um, so tell me a little bit. So you live in Holland now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm Spanish, and I was born in the Netherlands because my parents were living here when I was born, you know. But I'm Spanish, so I grew up in Spain, and then I grew up, and I thought, it would be really cool to meet the place where I was born. So I came, and I really liked it. So I've been here for 6 years now, and I'm not planning to leave. Really like it. I'm in Amsterdam, and it's such a calm city, you know. It feels like you're in a town, but you actually have everything available. So it's really nice. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually visited right as everything was locking down because I was living in Paris for about like 10 months at the time that coronavirus started.
Okay.
I had a plan for Amsterdam and I went, and it was kind of weird because within a week of that trip we all got, like, looking back it's kind of weird because within a week I got sent back to the US. But I totally got that,
Um,
telling me about how it's like a small town feel but still a big city and with all the amenities of a big city.
yeah.
It's a super cool town. uh
Yeah, I know, but
no, go ahead, what were you gonna say?
nothing.
Okay, no worries. So basically what I was talking about earlier was that this is kind of an interview that is talking about professional stuff, but also personal stuff in the sense of what the new year looks like for you and what you intend for it to be like in general. So, with that in mind, do you have any like New Year's resolutions, things that you want to see happen for you in 2021 that maybe didn't work themselves out in 2020 because of coronavirus?
Yeah, so I think that to explain you what I plan to do next year, it's nice if you know a bit what happened this year. So before the corona, in March, I had for the last 3 years, I was running a school in Amsterdam, and I was like really in it. I was teaching all the time, organizing classes with other teachers. I was just starting to bring teachers from other parts of Europe here to teach master classes. And for me, it was my dream come true, right? But then from one day to the other, I had to close. And I have to say, it was a bit painful because it was what I saw myself doing for the whole life, right? But I had to adapt. And actually, a lot of nice and unexpected things happened from that. So I had more time to paint, and I focused a bit more on that. And I, started embracing that maybe there was another path than the one I had in my head. And a lot of opportunities started coming. I, really enjoyed not having the responsibility of teaching and everything. just painting for it. So for me, this year will be a lot about painting, like continuing this career that I started just last year, full time, and also adding the teaching bit, which I miss again, so I will be starting an online school, and I would really hope that it happens early this year. And then learning, focusing on learning more about painting and on teaching. I really like that.
So
And yeah.
I'm so sorry that that happened, but I'm glad that what's come out of it is that you can feel like you can work independently and make it as an artist instead of having your hand in both and being able to still work as a teacher, but with still being an artist at the core. That's super cool.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
excited.
I have to say, like, when I was teaching and organizing everything, I had so many responsibilities, and my like hidden desire was to have more time to paint, like I wouldn't go saying it because I was also very happy with what I built. But once everything was gone, I felt a bit of sadness, but I also felt like, wait a second, can I do that thing that I thought I, couldn't? So in that way, it was also really a good moment for me to allow myself to do something that I thought maybe wasn't in my path. So yeah, also good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this year was a big year for a lot of people. I mean, myself included, of like those things that you always put off because you're busy with life. Like, oh, I would have wanted to do this. So I would have wanted to read more. I would have wanted to, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, when there's nothing to do, it's like, uh, you know, you said you wanted to do it. Now you have the chance, and are you going to
That's
take it?
true.
So,
Yeah.
it's clear that it seems like you've totally taken full advantage of it. In terms of professional goals for 2021, a little birdie told me that you have a very big exhibition coming up in a museum. Do you want to let everyone know about that real quick?
Oh yes. Is that little birdie Melanie? Uh,
Maybe. I don't
yeah.
reveal my.
I will be exhibiting in China, and I tried, but I can't ever remember which city. It's in the last post I put, it's just like such a Chinese name that it's, I would ruin it by mentioning it. But it's a very nice museum. It's big, and it's one the from that city, which I can't mention. It's the one in the center. I think it's called Zanhao, or yeah. I can't remember, but it's very nice. And then I was so flattered because there are also very nice artists who are exhibiting, like David Hockney, and then there is Pietro Ruffo, which is one of the founders of the brand Dior, or the designers, I mean. And they are people who yeah, have had this career, like David is has been there for quite longer, right? And having the opportunity to do something all together, younger people and also people who has been there for a longer time, was very nice, right? Very welcoming to the artist world, I guess. Yeah, I felt
And
yeah.
really exciting too, because like you were saying, you always wanted a little more time to paint and not as many responsibilities, and it seems like now that you have more time, like a lot of opportunities seem to be presenting themselves as well, which is
Yeah.
always validating as an artist, of course. uh
Yes,
Giovanni,
yes, it meant like, okay, you should really take this seriously and go for it, instead of having it as a second job. Yeah.
yes. Let me see what else. And then, do you have any like little fun New Year's resolutions, like that you'd like to see, like in a day-to-day basis? Like, personally, I always tell myself that I'm trying to get more organized, and it never works out because I'm just a very messy person. Um,
Okay.
that's always my New Year's resolution. It just never works. So, over to the next. Do you have anything like that that you'd like to see?
Well, yeah, my it's a weird one. I was cleaning up all my studio and all my house these last weeks. And what I realized is I have so many notebooks. I don't know, it's my temptation.
Guilty
I'm
pleasure.
in a shop and I see a notebook and I buy, three and I don't need them. I found while cleaning like 20 notebooks that are new, and then like 15 more that I started 2 3 pages and I left aside. And every time I have a new thought and I'm gonna write about this, or I have to think about this class, wherever, I start a new notebook and the next, it's a mess. So my New Year's resolution is use what I have. And it wasn't only notebooks. I found like art material that I had there for ages, and paper, like watercolor paper. I have a pile of watercolor paper that it's getting crazy. So just instead of like every time I start something new, like thinking, oh, I need more stuff. No, I'm like looking at what I've got and seeing if what I've got, like pens, I can
Mm-hmm.
do it. So that's my fun New Year resolutions, to empty all my drawers of that material that I'm just collecting somehow. Yeah.
That is so cute. That is like very relatable. I feel like I think a lot of people just like because you see it and you're like, oh, you know what? Who couldn't use a notebook? And then later on, you're
Yeah.
like, me, I couldn't use a notebook because I have 15 notebooks.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Oh, I had a new thought. I'll write it down in a new one, because this is a new special thing that's starting, right? So yeah, it's always, for me, it's like, I guess it's a way for my mind to say this is important and this is new. So I put it there in the new notebook, but then I forget about it. And yeah,
yeah, I
that
feel
is just,
I've done the same thing with art supplies because I love printmaking personally, and I'm always like, oh, I need ink, and then I buy more ink, and I'm like, wait, why did I buy more? Because I get home
true.
there. Um, but whatever. It's like a different color, so it's like I totally needed it. Or with
Yes,
clothes.
definitely. Of course, everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me think. What other questions do we maybe have for you? Were there any lessons that you feel like you learned? I know you talked a lot about having to close your like school that you had started and your students and how you learned to take more time for yourself in your artwork. But did you have any other kind of lessons that you learned out of having to be in quarantine and like about yourself, not having as much to do and so on?
Well, I did learn to take care of my plants. I had more time for it. But, uh, you know, that's like a fun one. But something more serious is like, I guess we all learn to appreciate our friendships, our families, no? To
Totally.
really, really, what's the word in English? Yeah, when you are with someone, really be there, present, and not take it for granted, right? I
Mhm.
think that's the big lesson that everyone had. And then the other one is, I live in I think 50 square meter apartment, or, well, not so big, and I live with my partner. So we've been in, because we have one room for sleeping, but we then have the living room and the kitchen all together, right? And we've
Yeah.
been both working there for a while, I think for 6 months. Now I have my studio, but
You know,
before for 6 months. So the um the relationship has gotten really deep, like I feel we know each other more than ever, and that we learn to, communicate better, because it's or communicate or die. So yeah, it has been like personally, also nice learning. Yeah.
definitely. Um, yeah, I think that's definitely a challenge. I actually read an article early in the pandemic when things were first closing down about a ton of divorces that were actually happening, and obviously not saying that everyone that goes into quarantine leads to divorce, but a ton of divorces that were happening in families where the husband or the main breadwinner of the family would leave to the city. It was normally men would leave to like the center of Paris to work Monday to Friday, and then come home only for the weekends. And that since they
Yeah.
were spending time at home now, that the parents could like not get along at all, and would normally like there was like a huge surge in divorces throughout France because of that. And I think
Yeah.
like what you're talking about is definitely speaking to the way that like when you're busy and you have other things going on, um, there isn't so much of a centrality in like communication, and like if you're upset with someone saying something, and like especially when you're spending all your time with someone, that can get very toxic very quickly if you don't like make sure to keep a healthy communication between the two people. So I'm glad that that's worked out for you, and I'm glad it's gone so well for you, and that you guys seem to have come out like a lot stronger because of it. That's awesome.
Definitely, yeah. It's, I think for everyone, like if you had any conflict underneath, like now it will pop up, right? There is no way, nowhere to hide. But hopefully that will also make all our relationships much more real, right? Like why living a lie is also not, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hopefully
Um,
it will be for the best. Yeah.
our last question, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Uh, have any fun like family or like cultural traditions that you like to do for New Year's? Like I know a big thing throughout Latin America, like my family does, is like the 12 grapes at
Yes, yes,
midnight.
we do that too in Spain. Yeah, we just bought them
Really?
today.
Well, that's
Yes.
nice. Do you guys do anything else in particular, like for the New Year's?
Um, no, with my family, we do the grapes. And for anyone that's listening, that means like we have 12 grapes each. And then for each second, when the bells are sounding on 12 o'clock in midnight, we eat a grape in each bell, right? I don't know how to explain that there.
Yeah,
And so we start the year with the mouthful of grapes and saying Happy New Year. And it's such a funny moment, no? So we all start laughing and with funny faces. Um,
major choke.
so the other tradition is actually not mine, is in the Netherlands. They eat pastry that's called oliebollen, and it's just dough with raisins and then a lot of sugar around it. And the families stay all together and eat as many as they can of those things. You know, there are piles of oliebollen. They eat many many sweets, and then after that there is lots of fireworks, of course. This year have been forbidden in the Netherlands. I'm not sure if it's something that will happen forever or if it's this year, I don't know. But that's just eat sweets, eat grapes, everything about eating.
I love it. Super
Yeah.
cute. Alice, the artist I just interviewed before this, is actually Dutch, and she said another tradition is that people will go to the shore and like run into the water, the freezing cold water, and like swim for a little bit and then come right back out. Which she was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, I would never do that. That's so cold.
No. Oh.
With
No
that
way
in,
to start. Well, it
oh,
must be very like shocking. Like it really marks the end of the year and the beginning
so
of the next, right? Because you're freezing cold. What an experience.
it's
Nice.
like a factory reset on like your whole system.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
but with that in mind, do you wanna? We've wrapped everything up. Thank you so much for speaking with me and
Yeah,
taking talk about 2020 and 2021. We're so excited to see what 2020 has for you and for the camp in general. Do you want to just share with everyone like where they can find you on social media and your website and so on and so forth?
yeah, it's Riso Chan all written together, and the website is just the same. So I think it's very easy to find. Probably even in your profile there are a couple of images of me. Or you're gonna post these too, right?
Yes.
In a yeah. So that's
Well, super
it.
cool. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's much everything we've got. Thanks again for speaking to me, and have a really happy new year.
You too, Mario. Have a happy new year.
It's a pleasure.
Bye. Great.